Right, I think things are sorted. I cannot guarantee it, but I hope so. Hey, Mr. Landfill, welcome back. Sorry you missed the stream last week. Just the nature of trying to stream before everyone in the UK melted. But we have survived. It is cooler today, so back to streaming at the normal hours. So, yeah, back to it. As you can tell by the somewhat messy prep box, or you may be able to tell, I've been busy prepping this morning. I've got a village fete, so like a little village setup with stalls on Saturday, and I've been asked by my in-laws if I will do some fossil sales on a shared stall with one of them, and so yeah, busy trying to get some fossils prepped, and so there's a lot of debris scattered through the box as I try and finish an awful lot of things. Lots of low-hanging fruit trying to get done, and it turns out I have a lot of mostly prepped things that needed to be finished, so it's a good excuse. But that being said, I'm going to do some actual from start prepped for stream, so that'll be good. Hey Jason as well, good to see you. Hopefully you are all set for adventures tomorrow. I'm going to do some prep and then pack car and all of the assorted things and hope that I have got everything. But yeah. Right, enough yapping. Nice big deck. Don't even remember where from. I think this one's a Brunswick Bay one based on the stack it came out of. It's got a nice little bivalve on this side and possibly a second there, so we'll probably leave this side alone, come in on this side, and looking at how it's whirling, it's a little unfortunate I've got to come in on the thicker matrix side, but it's probably mouth border down here somewhere. I don't believe that's it. I think that's another bivalve, but mouth border this side, whirling in on itself that way. So yeah, that's what we will go chasing. So yeah, Jason, for adventures tomorrow, hammer bag, water, plenty of water, sense of adventure, film gear if you've got any that you want to bring along, or a good camera is always just easy enough in this day and age. Phones, ridiculously good cameras compared to what they used to be. Anyway, yeah, enough yapping, more prepping, and sorry as I just re-crank everything back up to full power, and then yeah, we'll get going.
chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world to keep the sky on your mind.
Hey Paul, welcome. So we're just working on a Brunswick Bay deck. I'm having a bit of fun trying to figure out if I can just speed things up, because I appreciate watching me do matrix removal is not always the most fun things in the world. So just, hop on a chisel tip and crank the pressure up, and then have to be a little careful as we get down closer to the fossil so that I don't obliterate it. But hope you are well, and hope there's some good fossils in your future. So just working down through all of it, it's popping quite clean when you get down towards the ammonite. There's a little bit that might have to just slow down because it looks like there might be another small ammonite just sitting there. We'll have a exposure it a bit later and see. But yeah, as I say, the rest of it's cleaning up pretty quickly. So we'll just have to keep working on it and see how we get on. And do let me know if the lighting looks funky to anyone, because as I say, it just looks a bit darker on my screen, but I don't know if that's good or bad again. It's just part of the new lighting. Some of that may well just even be that the camera needs an adjust on what it is, or even on here. I can always change what it appears with the settings and filters and all the rest. So. So if you have got the eagle eyes that Jason apparently has, it's not just a second one, there's actually a third one. So there's a little one there and another one there. And so I'm going to have a look, see. Annoyingly, it's got some really, really frustrating calcite veins. So there's one that runs through here. Hopefully you can see the white line, it branches up and then across. But it goes straight through the ammonite. So a chunk of it popped off right along that calcite plane. So we'll try and stick that round back on. But it's actually quite a good example of where you can see the calcite veins. They tend to run as these like white sheets, as opposed to the ammonite, which is where that calcitic sort of shine is. That's one of the calcite chambers. But yeah, that there is the calcite septarian nodule. And so yeah, we'll stick it back at like that. And try and see if we can prep down and put the ammonite back together. So yeah, it goes back and it should be fine, that one, as long as I don't do anything horrible to the rest of it. But yeah, it's going fairly well, except for running into these other little ammonites. Oh, and hey Katie, if I didn't say that already. Sorry, brain is a bit busy, just doing too much in it and not enough slowing down for my own sake. But yeah, it has been a busy prep morning already, and yeah, I can show you some of the stuff that's being done in a second when I get this all squared away. Second. In response to that, Jason, the middle one, we'll see what it looks like. I tend to prep around them to start with, see if it's any good. If it's decent, it gets left there, because I think they can look nice if you get, like, especially if it's not dead center. That one may be dead center, we'll see where it's sitting. But if we can see down to the middle here, leave one there, leave a second or third one there, then we'll probably leave them all in place, but we'll just have to see. Easier to make decisions when you got all the information than when you got partial, and if you just obliterate it to start with, then you have no idea, because if the middle of this big one is knackered, it's sometimes nice that we've just got another little ammonite to distract from that. So yeah, but yeah, as promised, I just will show you what we got up to, or what I was up to this morning. Let's get my second camera functional. Right, so this is the box of things that I've been working through. Some of these you should recognize. They're the ones that I've been prepping in general, trying to finish the lot of them this week. And then if I can lift them off, there's another box of things that I have either done previously, finished off to a level that I'm happy with, varnished, etc. today. So it's been a busy prep morning already, which is why the box is also so dirty. Before we even started, I didn't have a chance to tidy it all up. But yeah, so those are all of the ongoing bits. Yeah, we'll prep down around these little ones and see what's what. I said it's from Brunswick. I'm starting to wonder if it's from elsewhere. I'm wondering if it might be Husker or Ravenscar. And I'm also wondering if it is actually a DAC or if it's actually a Paranosceris. But the nodes on it are not visible if it is. And so I was just I had a quick look earlier. It does have DAC shape to it, but I did just wonder, because I was just suspicious, and so I'll put it like that. Just suspicious, because you don't tend to see big DACs with lots of little DACs, but who knows? We'll see. I've just seen I dropped a metric bucket load of frames at some point. Oh, well, 1,000 of them. So hopefully it's not caused too much stuttering. Yeah, unfortunately this little one has lost a section of the whorls here. Obviously popped off whilst I was prepping and didn't even notice. So it's likely this outermost whorl will come away, and then we'll see if we can keep this the middle bit, because it is there, or at least so far it is there. It's teeny tiny, it's super sticky, but there is an ammonite there, so we'll see what we can do with that one. The other one we'll have a look at now. Right, so Katie's got the good question for today, and that is what's on my to find list that I'm really desperate to find? And the simple answer is teeth. Don't really care of what. I really like teeth. Always have, probably always will. I suspect part of it comes down to my research projects when I was at uni. Were always feeding related, and I guess from there it kind of makes sense that you go from feeding to teeth, as that's the main thing that we use to process our food. And then when I was out in the field the first few times, finding a tooth was such a big deal for me. Yeah, I remember walking across some of these areas in the Badlands in Montana where you do find dinosaur teeth on a pretty regular basis, and spending ages looking for one and being really annoyed that one of the experienced people walked behind me and picked up a little Triceratops tooth and that I'd missed. But thankfully, whilst we were digging up the skull of a Triceratops, there was a Tyrannosaur tooth amongst it that I found. So I at least got to find one on that trip, and then I've always been hunting teeth ever since. And so, yeah, I'd love some teeth from the Yorkshire coast. I've got a single, very, very scrappy ichthyosaur tooth as part of a vertebral bone block. Oh, not even, sorry, it's a ribby bone block from Ravenscar, and it's only a little scrappy tooth that got dinged during preparation because they didn't know it was there. And then there may or may not be teeth in this fish block. It'll depend on what's in this fish block. That's hopefully going off to prep tomorrow. But I'd love a rostrum of an ichthyosaur, a crocodile, a pliosaur, a fish, like anything that's with teeth. They look cool, obviously. And I guess I'm always a bit of a fan for vertebrate material, so again, anything fishy, ichthyosaur-y. I'd love skull bits. I'd love paddle bits. Yeah, it'd be nice to get some say vertebrate material. I had a bit of a dry spell this year for them, but I've had two verts in the last couple of trips, so yeah, it's picking up again. I'm still seeing stuff, and I found the fish in the last one, so I'm seeing stuff. It's just sometimes you're not walking in the right places, sometimes you're just unlucky, sometimes it's just not there. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, the more I'm out, the more likely I am to start finding these things again. And yeah, out tomorrow, and we'll see what we can find. I guess the second big thing on that list, which is probably far more likely, is just a Phylloceras. So anyone who's watched any of my fossil hunting videos knows that I pick up tons of bits of them, but I've not got a whole one. Katie, who asked the question, has been out with me before and picked up little phylos on trips that I've not found them. So they're clearly there, they're clearly around. I've just had that sort of luck that I've not walked across one of them or hit the right nodules, whereas Katie has, although she will then argue that I pick up all the hildies instead. So swings and roundabouts. So you get lucky with some things, you get unlucky with others, and there's no rhyme nor reason, it feels like. Particularly for the experienced people, like if you're out the same amount as anyone else, why do some people seem to pick up all the croc skulls? I'm looking at Liam from Forgotten Fossils, whereas others pick up all the ichthyosaur stuff. I'm looking at the YorkshireFossils.net boys. I don't know why it works out that way, but sometimes it just is. So yeah, those are the main things. Like the dream is an entire skull that I can just put in a boat and be laughing all the way to home. But at the same time, I think I'd actually be a little sad if I found one right now because I don't have the funds to prep it. So yeah, let's settle on something a bit smaller and let's see if I can start making some money through the prepping and the selling and the YouTube, and then. Yeah, then let's find me an ichthyosaur or a croc skull, and we'll be a lot happier. And the other thing I'm hunting, which is not talked about that much, although has popped up again on the forums because apologies for the rattling, that's the shed. The other thing that's popped up again on the forums is dinosaur bone, and yeah, I love a good bit of dinosaur bone. Ethan posted one recently. I know Rob Taylor seems to find dino bits on a semi-regular basis. And so the hope is maybe there's some more around, and to do that I need to spend a bit more time in the section south of Ravenscar, the Hayburn Wyke, Burniston, where you get the dinosaur footprints. Where there's dino footprints, there's obviously dinosaurs once upon a time. You just then looking for them to have died in the area and their bone to be preserved, but for some reason bone preservation for the dino layer seems to be pretty poor. But it's there, people have got bone, there's plenty of bits that have been found, scrappy little bits. So then you're just praying that one day you might get lucky and find something discernible, because yeah, the stuff coming out is early for British dino material in general. It's not the earliest, but it's pretty early, so it's a lot younger than the stuff that you get from the Isle of Wight, for example. And so it'll be a completely different fauna and lots of different species we walking through it and living in it. But yeah, it's the dream. I guess you could also play the dream that there's pterosaur material or anything that's like flying reptile. They get it down in the south coast. Lyme Regis and Kimmeridge both have flying reptile bits known, so why not here? But we'll live in dreamland that one day you might just find a bit of bone that's just something special. And yeah, as I said, the more you're out, the more likely it is. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. Flip it back to you all, whoever's listening. What's your dream finds? I mean, obviously my dream find is Yorkshire based presently. I got dream finds of finding a dinosaur in Mongolia. That was my childhood dream. But what about you guys? What's your realistic and dream finds? I say realistic as in something you may actually be able to find, rather than finding a dinosaur in Antarctica sort of thing. Doable, but you have to be one of the handful of paleontologists who go out there each year. So yeah, what are your dream finds? I want to hear. So for dream finds, we have Paul with good taste and also wanting a rostrum. Yeah, it's definitely up there, isn't it, as a thing that you always want to see. Katie gets to be a bit smug because she got one this year, and it's a beautiful little piece. What, about 10 centimeters, if that, long, but full of teeth. Beautiful prep by Mark Smith from YorkshireFossils.net. And then Katie's is a big dino footprint. Yeah, that'd be really cool. I do love dino tracks. There's a surprising number of them out there. A lot of them are funnily not known by most people, because a dino's track is actually very clear in some places that we walk over on a regular basis. You have to know what you're looking for, and most of the time it's not that lovely 3-toe or big round disc of a footprint that you see in all the news articles. It's a sideways view of stuff. So yeah, hey Jason, welcome back. Yeah, so you do see like the depression in the side view of a lot of sandstone blocks of footprints, even if you don't see the actual track itself. Can't do anything with them, but there's a few bits around the Holsker rope that I'm pretty sure there's dino tracks in some of the big blocks there. Not that you could do anything with them, but just based on the shape of the deformations in the sediment. But yeah, we obviously need to spend a bit more time in the northern sections of, the southern sections of the Yorkshire area, see if we can find any of those dino tracks and some dino bone for me. That'd be cool. Yeah, it's still going, Jason, as well, sorry. So where we're at, this little ammonite is broken from my prep. It's missing a chunk here. So it's likely this outermost whorl will come away. This one I still need to expose, but I've been trying to do as much as I can with the big tip before I change it. There's a non-zero chance that this whole section's going to come out, just because it's got natural fractures through it, as you can see by these, like the hollows here and here. So I don't think that's the end of the world if it comes away. I had a quick look when I flipped it over. If it comes away, am I losing anything? And I don't think so. But I am just trying to figure out where mouth border is at the minute and figure out whether or not it's going to be sat underneath here, which I think it might be, but that's what I was just trying to figure out, if it comes out beyond here. And then yeah, if I can, I'll be then switching over to the 1.5 mil and doing some tidying up with the small tips. And then Jason, you now get to join in the question game of what's your dream find, the realistic dream find of like what could you find in any of the places you're fossil hunting. Yeah, French hoagie would be cool. I look forward to hearing more about how your trip gets on, where you end up, and what you find. That will be cool. And yeah, and I'm glad you are a very similar nature of us as marine reptile. It's funny that so many of us collect in the ammonite rich zones, and all we're after is bloody marine reptile. Whereas I know Matt Lawson's like the exact opposite, although his most recent video seems to, he's found a nice big chunk of bone, but he doesn't care about bone, he'd much rather have an ammonite, so go figure. Everyone's different, eh? Yeah, I'd say rarity is a big part of the charm, isn't it? But I think it's funny that no one said Frusciello or any of the stupidly rare ammonites out of any of the areas. So yeah, go figure. It's fun how it works, because I think far more. Oh, this might be an odd one. I'd love to know the actual stats on this, but I have a suspicion that probably far more marine reptile comes out than Freshielas each year off the Yorkshire coast, at least. And I'd love to know if that's true as a statement, I haven't said it, but I suspect it probably is based on the number we see. But I guess it's also down to the fact that for a marine reptile, you'd be pretty happy with a couple of articulated verts, for example, whereas like a marine reptile, say an ichthyosaur, is going to have something in the region of 50 or so verts. So yeah, your odds of finding them are much higher. They've got 4 paddles, so again, much higher. The one skull, I appreciate, is a little is similar in terms of what your likelihood of finding something is. But yeah, I think the fun thing is, at least, is beside Freshella and Nautiloids, the only stupidly rare stuff, and I'm going to say this a little cautiously, is the stuff from Ravenscar, just because there's only the one exposure. There's obviously some very, very, very rare bits in each of them, but I think, again, it's tough to even know how to identify most of them, because they'll look very similar for things like the rare grey shells and stuff like that. Yeah, and the Freshella is super popular just because of, I might also be calling it wrong, it might just be a Freshella, whatever. That one's kind of cool because it does look like a nautilus, but it's got almost a Hildy style ridge down the middle of its keel, so it looks very cool. But yeah, super rare. One small horizon that they apparently come from. And there you go, Paul's got one. So I mean, it seems to be they come out at Sands End and Port more than anywhere else, but you just have to be very, very, very lucky. Whereas marine reptile comes out across the entire section from bottom to top, so yeah, maybe also higher odds. Sorry, just had my extractor running when I unmuted. So Jason's just heard there's rare things in Ravenscar. Yeah, Ravenscar probably home to the rarest things in Yorkshire, and possibly even rarer than Freshella. Yeah, just because it's a single set of horizon that's visible on the entire coast. So yeah, the upper section in particular, the blue-white stuff, combination of the exposure being a tiny little area in terms of what actually comes out, and the preservation being shockingly bad. That I found probably 20 or so ammonites, but none of them have anything close to a middle. They're notoriously nasty, and there's plenty of supremely rare litos. So there's two litos that basically you can't find anywhere else in Yorkshire. They're the Alico and the Perylitoceras, which are a lot more common in other parts of the country. Ravenscar is home to a lot of the rare things. Paul, when you say that's where mine's from, is it Port or Sands End or somewhere in between? And Farcon, prep's going a bit of everything today, so I've done a lot of prep before I started stream today, but stream prep is going reasonably well. Thought it would be a nice simple DAC, but of course I'm not convinced that 100% it's a DAC. I'm wondering if it's a funky Perinoceras, but it's also got one little one there and a little one here, so I'm busy just trying to see what's what with them before I decide whether or not to fully nuke them. This one unfortunately had a chunk, this section here, this one little bit of the whorl came off when it was being prepped, and I didn't realize there was an ammonite there. So it's a bit frustrating that it's gone, but hey ho, it's in a nice position because middle still should be there if the middle of this is here, so we'll prep around it and see what we've got. And yeah, welcome Shirley, nice to see that you've caught up. Farcon, you can join in the game, as can you, Shirley. What's your dream finds, realistic dream finds? So again, not something that if anything you could find in the entire world, but what is potentially realistic as a find? Like for Yorkshire, it's something on the Yorkshire coast, obviously, or possibly even a trilobite or something that might be from inland. Not like a dinosaur from Antarctica, sort of that level of difference between realistic and dream. So what are your dream finds? Yeah, welcome to the club, Farcon. I think that's the third answer that have all said skull-related stuff. Yeah, it's a popular choice. I think they're just so distinct. It's not like you can sit there and be like, "What is it?" It's yeah, very clear if you get a good piece of skull. Yeah, I mean, I know at least one more, at least partial croc skull has come out in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So yeah, they're still there. I'm just gonna get very lucky. Yeah, I mean, a giant Nautilus is doable. I mean, my best Nautilus is Saltwick Bay. They're definitely there, and you might just get lucky. But that being said, I found 3, so I've done very well for my Nautiluses, Nautiloids, whatever your preference for them is, in Yorkshire. But there are far bigger and better examples. And vertebra and recognizable bone, always a good choice. So they're there. You just gotta get lucky. Oh, a big bit of crinoid would be nice. Yeah. So again, a lot of the crinoid or brittle stars or starfishy things like the echinoderms, echinoids, they are mostly middle and lower lias. And you do get them Robinets Bay in particular, although I've occasionally seen some nice bits out of upper lias stuff. Woolly mammoth would be cool. Yeah, I'd say very nice that you've got that sort of stuff as well. Up in Michigan for Mr. Landfill. Yeah, it would have been awesome to be able to dig some up. And yeah, so nautiloids or nautiluses you should be able to find across the entire sequence, same as marine reptiles, same as phylos, which I think are, well, at least upper lias all the way through, from bottom to top of the upper lias. But yeah, the Nautilus, I think you can get lower all the way up through middle and upper lias. It was a couple of years back, yeah, 2 Christmases ago, I think it was that silly week that I think there were 3 Nautiluses found across the Yorkshire coast in the space of, yeah, I think it was a week. And I got mine from Zoic, Liam picked one up at Ravenscar, and then Matt picked one up at Port, was it? Or did he get one on the Holderness? Either way, there's, yeah, lots of bits. So yeah, it's just a little bit of luck, lots of looking. And Mr. Landfill's going to have some challenges finding dino bone. It's pretty rare in Michigan. Yeah, unfortunately, if you don't have the right rocks, it's very difficult to find them unless you happen to get lucky with some stuff that the ice sheets have dragged around. But even in Yorkshire, that's they're the rare bits. So in the ice sheets have had them. Right, I'm going to get back to prepping. You guys can keep chatting finds and let me know where everyone's found their cool bits and pieces. Right, I missed a few things. So Farcon said, first thing you ever found was a shell block with a weird bone in it. Still not sure it is. Yeah, as I say, there's lots of bits of nondescript bone. Sometimes tough to tell, and sometimes it's even tough to tell if it's fishy or marine reptile too, for some of these small nondescript bits. And then the plant fossils, yeah, some fabulous bits from the coal mines, the Carboniferous bits. I don't particularly love plant fossils, but some of them are special when they look just like a modern living plant. I'm fully with you on finding those bits and keeping those. And then Shirley said that you were on an archaeological dig when you were younger. And they got a heart-shaped pebble. Yeah, I was going to say, I laughed. My wife's got one of those that I picked up for her. She carries it around in her pocket, a little heart fossil. Lovely bivalves with the two valves making that heart shape. Yeah, it's interesting the things that we all pick up, keep, and some of those things that have sentimental value, even if they're not that exciting. Obviously, if you've got something that's fabulous, like a lovely sycamore leaf that's pretty nifty, then yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's a little different again. yeah, just to give everyone an idea of what's going on. So there you go, there's the two little ones sat on top of the big one. Pain in the butt, but they're getting there. Jason, safe packing, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Give us a shout when you're up, and if there's anything you need before you get underway. But yeah, I'll be in touch about tomorrow morning plans. Oh, it's really good to hear that you found something in your bag that's worth a tap. It is always a bit risky tapping some of the what they call the green ammonite bed nodules, because yeah, they sometimes explode rather than prep as nicely as you would like them to. But interesting. And in response to Paul's question, yeah, this is a Maya bought from Zoic. It's straight away, what, 2 years ago now? 2 years ago? Year and a half ago. 2 years ago, I think it must have been. At least. Back when the waitlist was 6 months rather, or 3 to 6 months rather than 6 months to a year or whatever it is now. Highly recommend it, but I also have very limited experience with anything else. It basically runs at everything from like 10 10 psi all the way up to 35 psi. I'm running a 1.5 mil tip on it at the minute, which is what I do all my fine work with. And then I've got a 2 mil point, which I do a lot of the prep work, which is what I was working on with earlier. Also have a chisel tip, which I use quite a lot on the 2 mil, particularly for brutal like chipping stuff away. And I've also got a 3 mil chisel, which works for some of the matrix material, but also for smoothing. I like it. I feel like I need something for the smaller bits. Like I'm not convinced what I'm doing is the right thing for these ones, and I don't know if that's my skill, or if it's because I'm using the 1.5 for more than just exactly doing the fine centers, that I may have made it a bit dull, and therefore it's not doing as much precision work as it should be. But yeah, I feel like I need a more precise pen still for doing the really fine middles. And that might also come down to I might need more magnification as well. Yeah, so the Ken Mannion pens are very popular, and in fact were the highly recommended ones for dealing with the pyrite from Yorkshire. But I was also told that because Ken is older, the service life of some of the pens might not be as great. I don't know if that's the reality or not, but that's what I was told. And they are all very good pens and very popular for people who work on Yorkshire material. So I got no experience with them, but that's what I'm told. But yeah, they're very popular for dealing with this level stuff. So yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I was going to say, some of the old pens, the TTs, which I think are Chicago derived pens, are fabulous pieces of equipment, and just they work. I'm hopeful the same will be said about the Maya and the fancy Zoic pens, but we'll have to wait and see. They've not been out that long, so yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. But yeah, there isn't a lot that should go wrong with a pen as long as you do everything sensibly and correctly, and you service them up and give them the oil that they need and all the rest. Because there's not a huge number of moving parts in them, it's a lot of pressure control. But there's a few springs. If depending on your setup, there's a pusher plate and some O-rings, and as long as you're treating all of those correct in general, you should have a pretty good endurance on your pen. But yeah, I say that's what we wait and see. I will refer people to the videos from Fossiliferous. Trevor, who does a lot of the prep work for Matt Lawson, Fossiliferous, has done some nice videos, and one of them was how to maintain some of their air pens, and one of the ones he shows off is actually one of the DN Sun's Arrows, I think it's called, which again I think is another TT styled pen. Most of them are the Chicago or variants thereof. Then yeah, how to maintain it, it's fairly straightforward. It's O-rings, oil, lubrication, silica, and lubricant on your O-rings and stuff like that. It's all fairly straightforward. So assuming you don't do anything silly with them, yeah, they should last and last and last and work well. Whether the new ones that we get coming out of China, the Timu pens are any good, we'll wait and see. But I know quite a few people have bought them just because they're like 40 quid a pop, and kind of have that disposable nature that if it goes wrong, oh well, buy another. But we'll see how those handle as well. But yeah. Yeah, thanks, Shirley. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and thanks for being here.
Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep
This landfill, I assume Royal Peacock Opal Mine is an opal mine, as the name might suggest, but you never know because Royal Peacock Opal might be the name of a company that own a mine in Nevada. Sorry, yeah, just taking a quick break. We're getting there. It's taking longer than I would like. This has made life a lot slower, but we're getting there. And then there'll be a lot of tidying afterwards, or after the stream, probably tomorrow before, not tomorrow, 2 days time, on Wednesday before the stream returns. Me try and finish those up in the middle, to the pinpoint center if there is one. Just because it gets very tricky to do on stream. But I'll keep working down the middle, and this little section in particular, in the next sort of 30-40 minutes of the stream. How do the opals in this opal mine compare to, say, the Aussie opals, which are the only ones I really know? Yeah, it's cool, Mr. Landfill. Opalized wood. I said a lot of wood goes silicified, so it's silica based. So it's interesting that you get obviously the gemstone version of the silicified wood there. So for those who don't know, that opal is basically silica based gemstone, and so it is transported in usually in water, and in at least Australia it travels through the ground through cracks and then settles in certain areas, and it is known to infill and cover various fossil material, and so I've seen dinosaur bone that's opalized, and wood and shell and all sorts from Australia. So it's cool that similar stuff is going on in Michigan. And annoyingly, after all of that faff, there's no middle. It gets close, but it ends about there. After a little like sheet of calcite was sitting across the center. There's not quite to the middle. But I think it's still going to be interesting enough with the two little ones that it'll be finished off. But yeah, let me just keep working on the other two at least for a little bit longer, and yeah, then we will have to call it time for the day. But we'll be back, as I said, on Wednesday, so do not fret. Just to show you this, I'm going to get rid of it, but it's a little opening there. It's a little pair of bivalves. So like when you go down to the beach and you find your two seashells still stuck together and slightly open, yeah, that's what that is. Don't see them very often stuck together but open, because obviously they fall apart fairly quickly when they get to that sort of stage. Especially if you've ever picked them up on the beach, you know that the two together are pretty flimsy when they're open. So yeah. But it's gonna disappear. Right, just stuck back the bit that popped off right at the beginning with the calcite veins. In fact, you can still see the calcite vein there, that white line running through. There's still work to do, but I have now spent most of the day prepping, so I'm going to finish up there, I think. So we've got a decent big one that now needs to be tidied. Middle not there, but we can still tidy the edges. Two little ones that still need finishing, and some decisions about exactly what I'm doing with matrix around here and here, because this is a bit wonky. It may break off in the prep. Unsure, but we'll see. Not a bad one, but not quite what I thought it was going to be. I was hoping for a fairly straightforward deck, but I've not had a straightforward deck in weeks. They all become far more complex than expected. Yeah, an interesting one. Definitely not like the last multi that we did, which still needs a bit of work, which is this one. So that's still to be finished. That's in my to finish box. But yeah, two extra little ones for good measure. So yeah, thanks all for being here as always. It is greatly appreciated, and thanks for the good chat, good talk. I look forward to seeing you all hopefully on Wednesday. We'll be back for some more prep, and I can hopefully tell you about some exciting things that have happened on Tuesday or tomorrow, as the case currently is. But yeah, with that, classic and standard, thank you all for watching. Be safe, as Mr. Landfill says. Look after yourselves, and yeah, we'll see you very soon.